My name's Cam Burtok. I'm 25 years old and I've made over $4 million in personal commissions going door to door selling solar, all before turning 26. But here's what nobody tells you about making that kind of money that young. I got sued at 21 for $3.1 million. I lost an entire sales team that I had recruited in one day by getting poached. I went 6 weeks without getting a single sale. I maxed out my credit card all while eating ground turkey and rice just to get by. And I almost gave up on the entire thing more times than I could count. So if you're out here grinding and door to door, or you're thinking about getting into it, or if you're stuck at a dead end job, just wondering if there's more to life, this story's for you, because I'm about to show you how I went from a broke 19-year-old kid with $100 in my bank account to running one of the most successful door to door solar teams in the nation. Let's get into it. So I grew up in Fernley, Nevada, middle of nowhere, like more cows than people. Middle-class family, both parents had great jobs. I was a multi-sport athlete, football, basketball, baseball, you name it, I played it. But when I was 12, I had something that completely changed the trajectory of my life. My dad became an example of what not to be. And my mom, she's the reason I have the good qualities at all. She was the backbone to our family. So I threw myself into sports. I was committed to a Division I school, Dixie State, to go play football. And that was the plan. I was gonna go be an athlete. And that was the way that my dad viewed me, Cam the athlete, not Cam the son. But then something happened my senior year. I was dating a girl for 2 years, and her parents came to me and said, if you're gonna date our daughter, then you need to get a job. So I started looking around, and I saw this Instagram post by a BYU football player saying that he made $80,000 in one summer doing door-to-door sales selling pest control. I slid in his DMs, I got on a call with him, and I was hooked on the idea. My girlfriend at the time thought it was a scam. My mom, who was in commission-only sales, told me it was a bad idea. None of my family supported this idea at all. But I decommitted from Dixie State. I broke up with my girlfriend and I said, F it, I'm gonna go knock doors in California. So in 2019, at 19 years old, I packed up my truck. I moved to Orange County, California with $100 in my Wells Fargo account. I didn't know a single person on the team. I didn't even have a bed. I had to be a couch rep until somebody decided to swap with me. So I get out there to go start selling, and bro, I failed my state licensing exam on the first try. Then I went 6 weeks. 6 weeks with 0 sales. I ran out of money completely. I maxed out my $500 credit card, and I was eating turkey and rice every day because that's literally all I could afford. And I'm watching these other reps, guys that didn't even look like salesmen, absolutely crushing it. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell is wrong with me? Here's the truth. I was the problem. I was too proud. I had too much ego, and I was not coachable. I thought I could figure it out on my own because I was an athlete, and athletes figure shit out, right? Wrong. I finally humbled myself. I went to my managers and I said, I need help. And they said, start doing what we do. Hit the gym before work, pitch in the mirror every night, do the work. And bro, once I started doing that, everything started to change. I finally got my first sale, and then another, and then another. And then by the end of the summer, I wasn't the top rep, but I did prove to myself that I could sell. Looking back on 2019, it was the good and the bad. The good, I got my foot in the door. I learned that I could do this. The bad, I took way too long to figure it out because of my ego and the immaturity. I could have been one of the best rookies on the team that year if I would have been more coachable from day one. But that's the lesson. You can't skip steps. So 2020 hits. COVID happens, and I went all in on pest control that summer. I made the most money I'd ever made in my entire life. I was selling at a high level, and I got cocky as hell. My shit didn't stink. I thought I was untouchable, but I was also undisciplined. I was letting my personal problems creep into my work, and I wasn't taking care of myself outside of sales. And then I made the biggest decision of my life. I was playing football at Snow College, and I decided to forfeit my scholarship and go all in on sales. My dad didn't talk to me for 6 months after I decided to walk away from football. He saw me as Cam the athlete, not Cam my son. My parents had invested so much time and money into my athletic career, and it pained them to see me just walk away from it. But looking back, that was God's plan. Because when I decided to move to Provo, Utah, I moved 3 doors down from my future wife, Olivia. And bro, meeting her changed everything. Before Olivia, I was just betting on myself. Once I met her, I had a deeper why. I wasn't just trying to impress myself anymore. I was trying to build a better life for us. So from October 2020 to May 2021, I did 75 hard. I did massive self-reflection and I asked myself, who is Cam Burtok? What makes him tick? What makes him do well? What makes him do bad? I was preparing for my biggest year yet. And then I switched to solar. But the way I left pest control, that was ugly. So I went on a 3-day solar blitz just to check it out. I was still with the pest control company at the time. On Friday that week, I got an $18,000 upfront commission check from pest control, which was life-changing money for a 21-year-old. And I was planning on paying for an engagement ring with that check. And on Sunday night, I went to go check my bank account. The company had reversed that $18,000 check from my bank account. It was gone. I couldn't believe that somebody would stoop that low to take a 21-year-old kid's paycheck just because of the decisions of where he was working. So the company told me the only way you get your money back is if you commit to us and you don't go sell solar. And I said, F that, I'm done. But here's where I messed up. I was super disrespectful to the CEO and my personal leaders when I left the company. I burned bridges that I didn't need to burn. I made it my personal mission to obliterate pest control and tell everybody about solar. And because of that, I got handed a lawsuit for $3.1 million at 21 years old. And bro, I woke up in the middle of the night in sweats thinking, if I lose this thing, I will have worked for free. But here's the thing, I had one of the most genuine guys as my lawyer and biggest mentors. I learned about business and I learned about leveraging and maintaining relationships. And I learned that you don't burn bridges that you intend to go walk on again. And most importantly, I learned that life is happening for you, not to you. So 2022 was supposed to be my biggest year. And it was, but not in the way that I expected. I was running a team with a business partner, and one day he decided to take all of our guys to a different company in Kansas. I went from a regional manager to a self-generating closer overnight, back to square one. And that was the moment that I realized you can't skip steps. I was really good at closing and I was really good at recruiting, but I wasn't good at self-generating and I wasn't good at setting. That split exposed my weaknesses. So the company relocated me to South Florida. No people, no installs, no momentum until March. From March to June alone, I was paid over $450,000 in personal commissions. I hit golden door status. How does that not fire anybody up? I went from my biggest fallout and frustration to my biggest year in production. Then I moved to Arkansas. I went from 3 setters to over 17 people. I outgrew Arkansas. My co-manager and I didn't see eye to eye. He wasn't willing to make the same sacrifices that I was. So we split. He took 4 guys to Florida. I took the rest to Oklahoma. Now it's 2023 in Tulsa. Oklahoma was rough. I was doing massive volume. The lawsuit was getting finalized and I was making mistakes left to right. And at the time, I had a closer that I was running it up with in Tulsa. He wanted to be a manager, but I told him, you're not ready yet. You don't have any guys. But here's where I failed as a leader. I didn't paint the vision for him. I didn't say, you're not at the level that you need to be at yet, and it's my job as your leader to get you there. I didn't paint the vision for him. And without a vision, people perish. So I ended up losing my top closer and about 4 other guys. Then one day, the next week, a whole team pulled up all my setters in area. They found out where everybody was knocking and they offered them all money. So many of those setters were so new that I didn't have a relationship with them yet. I couldn't retain them. I ended up losing my entire team in one day. That was one of the hardest days in my career. But here's what I learned. You have to pour into people quick. You have a 60-day pour-in period. You have to give as much as possible and build relationships fast if you want to retain your people. So I rebuilt again. I asked my upline leader for help and he sent me Dawson. From March to October of 2024, we crushed it. I took a back seat and Dawson ran everything. We recruited Kai, Calder, Sheldon, all amazing guys. And we had one of the best offices retention-wise. And then the company I helped build the last 4 years went bankrupt. I found out from a Forbes article, not from my leadership, not from the company. A random person in the industry just sent me a link to the article and said, is this true? I was actually on a company trip in Paris when I found out. All of our commissions were gone. Guys were literally missing pay and I had to negotiate just to get guys paid. But here's the crazy part. I didn't lose a single leader through the bankruptcy. Not one. That is unheard of. And the reason why? Because I built relationships with them. I had poured into them. They trusted me. So 2025 was supposed to be the year that everything came together. My wife, Olivia, and I were trying to have kids for 2 years, but we couldn't. They told me it was on my side that we couldn't have kids. It broke my heart. I thought I couldn't give my wife the one thing that she deserved, a family. But because of this career and the money that I've been able to make, we were able to afford IVF, and it worked. And our son Baylor was born, and he has been the greatest thing to happen to us. But he was born with jaundice, and he was unable to get back to his birth weight. We had to syringe feed him, and it was scary as hell. I couldn't leave home until I knew that he was okay. While Olivia was pregnant, after the bankruptcy of Lumio, we decided to transition our entire group over to New Sun. It caused a huge uproar, but we did it. Then we sent our group to San Diego, an area that had not been hit for 2 to 3 years. And we got rocked. We couldn't get anything to shake. Financiers changed the way that we could do add-ons, and we lost 200 plus accounts, and there was nothing we could do about it. Guys weren't making money all summer. And then one of our leaders was T-boned in an accident and killed while out in area. I flew out to area to go visit at the hospital, and I stayed in a nasty Airbnb. It was so nasty that I got some skin condition, and I spread it to my wife and my son. We dealt with it for over 2 months, and we couldn't be around anybody. It was miserable. But then we finally got the green light from the doctor. So we packed up and moved to the Bay Area to go sell. And bro, then we started ripping. We doubled our production with 5 setters compared to the 45 setters we had down in San Diego. We dominated. We went from shitting the bed to guys making money again. And that's when I realized the last man standing. That's my thing. You don't stop digging right before hitting gold. So having Baylor rocked our world, and not in a bad way, just not in the way that we expected. I expected Olivia to be the same caliber of wife that she's always been, and Olivia expected me to step into fatherhood in a completely different way than I did. I'm a world-class husband. She thought, imagine how he'll be as a dad. But bro, I struggled. I couldn't work as many hours. I didn't have any more personal time. I couldn't golf whenever I wanted, and I didn't have the 4-hour gym sessions like I used to. And it started straining our marriage. I've been gone for 3 weeks on a blitz. Liv tweaked her wrist during pregnancy, and it never healed right. She was carrying Baylor by herself in weird positions. Sleep training was brutal. The baby wouldn't sleep. And finally she said, I need you. This isn't working. I need you to show up more. And my first thought was, I am showing up. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, providing for my family. So we went on a date to figure it out. And it was one of the hardest conversations we've ever had. At one point in the conversation, I had said, I'm surprised you feel that way with everything that I do for you. And she had said, well, what do you do for me? And it hurts me to even say that out loud. But I understand her intentions now. She wanted me to say what I do so she could either agree or disagree with that. Her intentions weren't to say that I don't do anything. But in that moment, I had realized I hang my hat way too much on providing. In my head, I'm adored by so many people. I lead the masses. I have so much influence with people. Why is that not enough for her? And she had said, Cam, I don't care about your career. You could be selling nuts and bolts for Home Depot. I would still love you the same. She loves me, not what I do. And it hit me hard. I was focused on the wrong things. I was hiding in my career because I didn't feel connected to my son yet. Olivia had had a bond with him that I didn't, and that's what I wanted. And so I had thought, if I don't have a relationship with my kid yet, why not just go work hard? But that was the wrong mindset. Fatherhood is about sacrifice. It is the greatest reward. I light up just thinking about him. When I come home tonight, he's gonna be smiley just seeing me. And that fires me up. I only do this for them. And if I don't realign myself to that, I'm not really doing it for them, I'm doing it for me. And here's what I learned about marriage. Men think that the most attractive things are being jacked, being rich, and being well off in business. And that's true, 100% in the start. But the moment your spouse has you in their life, they want to feel that they are on an equal playing field as those same priorities. The moment that they don't feel equal, it's over. What's being better than jacked and rich? It's how you make people feel. My wife does not demand a lot. 1 date night a week and home on Sundays. That's it. She gets it. She doesn't need me home at a certain time. She knew who she married, a man of purpose, not a shell of a man. So if you're watching this right now and you're in door to door, or you're thinking about getting into it, or if you're in some deadbeat job, here's what I want you to know. Number one, you're never out of the fire. The fires don't get smaller, you just get better at walking through them. Number two, life is happening for you, not to you. Every setback, every loss, every failure is preparing you for something so much bigger. Number three, you can't skip steps. I tried, and I got my ass handed to me every single time. You've got to be willing to do the work. You've got to be coachable, and you've got to be willing to pour into people. Number four, last man standing. That's the game. Entrepreneurs, they don't fail. They just run out of time. And if they run out of time, it's most likely because of them. Number five, pay the piper now or later. For me, I'd rather pay the piper now rather than later. If that means missing out on boys' trips now so I get more time with my family later, then that's what I'll do. Temporary fun or permanent stability. you choose. And here's the biggest one. Without a vision, your people perish. If you can't paint the picture for yourself, your family, or the people you lead, you're gonna lose them. You've got to be able to show your people where you're going, and you have to take them with you. I've made over $4 million in personal commissions. I've been sued for over $3 million, and I've lost multiple teams and had to rebuild from scratch. And I would not change a single thing, because every storm I went through made me better for the next one I encountered. So here's my message to you. If you're 19 years old with $100 in your bank account, wondering if you should take the leap, do it. If you're 6 weeks into knocking doors with 0 sales, wondering if you should quit, don't. If you're in a dead-end job, trading your time for money, wondering if there's more to life, there is. But you've got to be willing to do the work. You've got to be coachable, and you have to be willing to pour into people. And most importantly, you have to be the last man standing. Because I promise you this, if you can do those things, you can change your life in ways that you could never even imagine right now. I went from a broke 19-year-old kid eating turkey and rice to over $450,000 paid in 3 months of work and learning lessons that take people decades to learn. I went from losing an entire team in one day to rebuilding and retaining every single leader through a company bankruptcy. And now I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a leader, and I'm just getting started. So if you're ready to go all in, you're ready to bet on yourself, and you're ready to become the last man standing, then let's get to work.